does it begin to, in your mind, does it accumulate emotionally, taking all these injuries?
Yeah, I mean, it always does for anyone associated with NFL. I know a lot of teams deal with that. Not every team, but we're dealing with it hard right now, and it got worse yesterday, so it's tough. Got worse today.
What do you think? I mean, obviously Brock's dealing with inexperienced receivers, Ricky Pearsall's first game, I think 3 interceptions. How did you think Brock dealt with all that?
I mean, we didn't do anything really good on offense. You know, I know he'd love to have all 3 of those picks back, so Brock's been playing unbelievable this year. Done some good things in offense this year, but today wasn't that day.
That second interception, was that a miscommunication, or did Brock just miss the throw?
No, he just missed the throw.
Obviously not the result you guys wanted, but kind of excluding the performance just for Ricky Pearsall to make it back onto an NFL field today, what did that mean for you as his coach and for him?
I mean, we kind of celebrated that almost all week with him because it was great to have him back, and he looked great in practice, and he was going to get eased in a little today. It changed a little bit with Debo going out, then it changed a bunch with IU going out, so he had to do more than we expected today, and I was proud of him for handling it. Great to have him back.
Did Debo get the sickness this morning? Like, did he just
Yeah,
come
this
in?
morning. Yeah.
Right, but he just like vomiting.
Throat, stomach things, just real fatigued, like struggled to breathe, couldn't catch his breath, and so he kept trying to fight through it, but once he was struggling with the breathing and everything, that we had to shut him down.
You seem to struggle to beat man-to-man coverage in this game. Are there things you can do as a play caller, play designer to help scheme people open against those particular looks?
Yeah, that's all we try to do. Thought a couple guys did pretty good on man. Thought we got a good curl pump. Their Jake at the end. I thought BA had a real good one that we just didn't go to. Had one of the picks on it. Ronnie did on the other pick. So there was definitely times guys beat man, and sometimes they didn't.
Looking at the defensive performance, Kyle, what did you see in terms of how Mahomes was able to torment them again?
I mean, I thought the defense today, compared to everything else, gave us a chance. I thought they settled them down. But, 4 or 5 in the red zone was the biggest thing. I mean, they scored pretty much every time they got down there. Mahomes, just keeping plays alive with his legs, that 30-so scramble that he did, and then extending it by the sidelines, which we see over and over, and everyone thinks they're ready for it, but then he gets another team again with it. So hats off to him. He's an unbelievable player. But we didn't play good as a team today.
You have one more game before the bye week. What was the message that you delivered to the team? What do you want them to take away from today? I
want them to say less today. There's no way to sugarcoat that. We got our ass kicked today. Lots of reasons for it, but those are things that they don't need to sit and think about today. We'll address all those tomorrow. We'll get together. We'll go through the truth of the whole tape and, be hard on each other and find a way to put it to bed so we can come out here and make sure we put our best foot forward and find a way to get a win versus Dallas.
Following up on Tim's question, how much can you expect Brock to elevate himself given the circumstances?
On whose question?
Tim's question is about Brock.
Oh.
He played given what was happening with the rest of
Yeah, Brock elevates himself a lot. I mean, regardless of whether guys are down or up. I mean, Brock's been doing that every game. He had some good plays today, but just overall, him along with all of us on offense, we didn't do well. When you do miss your best players or some of them and they go out with injuries, it makes it harder on everyone. And you hope that you can overcome that with some stuff with some of our other guys like Brock, who is very capable of doing that, but it just wasn't his best day.
Is there continued frustration with special teams and what can be done to kind of clean some of the stuff up?
I can't hear you.
Is there continued frustration with special teams and what can be done to clean some of the stuff up?
We're going to keep coaching them. We're going to keep putting pressure on us as coaches, pressure on the players. As you do get guys down, you can't just try the next guy, so some of these guys are getting their opportunities because of injuries, and we got to make sure that we get better at this. There's certain things that we have gotten better at, but that big punt return, mainly the one that stuck out to me, they're getting too much, and we just got to continue to work at it and not ignore it, which we're not.
How long do you guys expect to be without Juwan Jennings?
I'm really hoping to get him back this week.
You've had some success running some screen plays. Why do you think you struggled defending those plays, given that you've seen them before?
Yeah, yeah, you see screens every week. That's what everybody does. Hits a couple screens in the game. They got past our D-line, sucked us up on that. I think they got us in a couple zone coverages where guys were out of there, and you need one guy to make the tackle, and that guy misses, and it opens it up. But they hit some good screens. It's what they do best, one of the best things they do, and they got us on them.
Is there any reason to believe Brandon doesn't have a torn ACL?
I mean, that's what it looks like, but we don't know for sure. Just doing the tests and everything with our hands and with the trainers and stuff, all that. So that's what we fear. That's what it looks like, but we've been wrong before, so praying that we are.
You know, past games don't mean much for this game, but what they were doing defensively, was it similar to some things you saw in the Super Bowl, or was Spagnuolo doing even other things?
No, it's what they do in the Super Bowl. It's what they did the 19 games before that. You know, it's what they've done all the games this year. So they got a good scheme. They mix up a lot of two-read coverage, a lot of quarters pressure, a lot of man coverage, and a lot of man pressure. So they kind of roll those throughout the game, and they're good at all of them.
Kyle, there was a lot of emotion going into this game, and yeah, everyone can say it's just another game. It's not going to make up for the Super Bowl, but clearly it was important. What do you do now to kind of be able to put this behind you?
That's why I try not to make it about that stuff. You know, I mean, obviously, when you got to, you know, we all know how much last year hurt. So, you know, when you're studying that tape all week and stuff, it does bring up emotions and everything. And, yeah, you would love to beat someone, but that has, if we beat them today, that wasn't going to change anything with the Super Bowl either. You know, we would love to do it. You know, we haven't been able to beat them, so that's something that would feel really good. But I'm not going to make that more than it is. So we try not to make it more than it is all week, whether we won or lost. We knew we were going to come in Monday and review it and know we were going to have a big game versus Dallas this week before the bye week. And our goal is to be leading our division after this bye week. I didn't even watch what happened today. I think Seattle won, but we got to keep it close here and find a way to get a win next week.
I know this is hypothetical, but if Brandon does have an ACL, could you see being aggressive on the trade market for a wide receiver?
I don't know. I mean, depends what's available, depends the risk and reward with everything. I mean, we look into everything in every situation, but got to balance all that out. All right, thanks, guys.
performance tonight, and what'd you think of what happened on the second interception to Ronnie?
Yeah, I think I got to play better for sure. Just with my throws, some decisions, and that's pretty simple. I obviously got to watch the film and stuff, but my instant reaction is got to play better. The second interception was on me again. Ronnie did his job. I thought he just got hemmed up. I didn't know where he was going to come out on his route, so I just tried putting it on him, and then he ended up breaking out pretty good. And so Ronnie did his job. It was on me.
Kyle Shanahan was talking to you at your locker just now for about 4 or 5 minutes. Can you tell us what the nature of that conversation was?
I mean, we're just talking about some stuff throughout the game and just some moments throughout it and stuff, and how we can get better and going forward and stuff. So it was really just that. So.
Why do you think the start of the game was so tough? The first quarter, were they doing different things to you guys? Why was the opening so hard?
I mean, obviously it's tough to get the ball rolling when we're not getting first downs and things like that. So it starts with that. I think we got to convert on third downs and find a way, especially when our defense is doing a great job getting stops and getting us the ball back. So it's on us, man, to move the chains, and we just failed. Obviously, Kansas City is a great defense and everything, but we're a great offense in our eyes, and we know that we can play at a really high level, and so that's on us to get the ball rolling. So not really sure. Still got to watch the film and see what happened.
Talk about the impact of losing Brandon and then the impact of getting Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, man, obviously just what BA does for our offense and who he is and as a teammate and a brother of ours, man, it's sad. So wishing him nothing but the best and praying for him. So that's my guy. And when he goes down like that, obviously we have other guys that can step up and do their job really well. Ricky, having him back for his first game, man, was awesome. Just seeing him back out there and making cuts and plays. He's a baller too, so we're really excited for him and for his growth and to bring him with us, man. So we're excited about that. I'm thinking about BA and wishing him nothing but the best too. So we all just got to come together as a group, man, collectively at the receiver unit and all of us. And guys just got to step up, and they have. And so that's the nature of the sport, sadly. So.
Are you feeling greater I know quarterback's only supposed to do his job, but do you start naturally to feel more responsibility when some of the bigger names are out of the offense?
Can you say it again? Sorry.
Do you kind of feel the responsibility when you don't have Christian, Brandon, and Debo in the middle, in the game, that you've got to do a little bit more?
I mean, I don't really think that. All I think about is, what my job is, going through my reads, trusting in Kyle's play call, and hitting the open guy. I think there was many opportunities tonight or in this game where I could have been better, and so that's just how I feel. Is there more pressure for me to put on a Superman cape and do more? No. I think who we have and the players that we have that step up in those positions, man, they've done a great job, and we have a lot of talent in my eyes. So that's on me, and we'll just all continue to grow and fight on this journey together.
Do you feel like your confidence was shaken at all during that game, or did you feel you were going to come out of it any minute?
No, yeah, I think, I was just trying to get into a groove and, get a couple first downs, get some completions. As a quarterback, seeing those kinds of things are huge. And so, I think their defense did a good job. But like I said, at the same time, I think there's some moments and times where, I have to make the throws. I have to get the first downs moving and rolling. But, got to watch the film, see what happened, and we'll go from there. So, thanks, guys.
You played a whole career in college football and just one NFL game so far. What is the difference between trying to beat man coverage in the SEC versus what you saw today?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference. Obviously, the NFL is just the best of the best, so there's that difference. But I still think it's similar techniques to beat a DB at the end of the day, and I got to stick to those techniques and keep working on it and keep getting better at it.
What did it mean to you to get out to the football field today, given what happened to you?
Yeah, it meant everything. Obviously, all the adversity I just went through these past month, it was really good to go out there with my guys again. I think that's the refresher for me at the end of the day. When the incident first happened, the first thing I was thinking about was, the guys in this locker room, the coaches in the locker room, and the entire staff. And, they did a really good job of rallying around me, making sure, I stayed up. And it was a huge blessing for me today, yeah.
At what point when that did happen to you, did you realize realize that you would be able to play football again?
They told me in the hospital when I was still asking that question over and over again. So that was a common question coming out of my mouth when I was in the hospital bed. But they ended up telling me after they seen the X-rays and the CAT scans of the direction of the bullet path, and then as well as there was some nerve stuff that I had to make sure I was good on. So that's why I had to stay overnight. But after that next morning is when the doctor came in and told me I would be good to play football again. That was my first question. So.
What's the biggest hurdle that you had to clear, 2 months ago through that process to get back on the field today?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest hurdle for me was just recovery from, the wound. There was obviously a lot of scar tissue buildup in the area. And since it was in my chest, all in like under my armpit, and obviously it was through and through, so there was a buildup all the way from, my chest to my back. So just working through that, making sure I'm getting that all worked on and getting that scar tissue out. And once I started feeling better range of motion and pain tolerance wise, and that's when, I was headed to the right direction to practice and train.
Was there an emotional hurdle as well?
Yeah, I think there was slightly. Obviously for the first few days after that, it was pretty brutal. But I got a lot of good people around me. I got a lot of good family members, strong foundation, a lot of good people in this locker room. A part of this staff and this organization did a great job. Like I said earlier, rallying around me, but just putting resources in my direction to use, and I think that helped me get through that a lot. Mm-hmm.
And you say you didn't know for sure until the next morning about your football career. I'm sure part of you was like, you're alive, but was that a tough night of sleep for you, still not knowing?
Yeah, for sure. That was obviously my first thoughts through the whole incident was, if I was going to be alive or not, and that was the first thing I was thinking of, and making sure, that I got in contact with my family members. But once I knew I was going to be okay, and I was going to be able to live, the next question came, was I going to be able to play football now? And as soon as I got that answer, a light just grew inside of me, and I was super excited to hear that from the doctor. So.
Now that you'll be able to play football, and then you've been told that maybe you'll be able to make your debut in week 4, then that comes 5 and 6, and then you get to week 7 and you make your debut against the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. What were you kind of thinking about going into this outside of the loss? How did that kind of build up your motivation or excitement to get out there and play?
Yeah, there was a tremendous motivation for me, after that incident. Obviously when you go through some adversity like that, it only makes you stronger at the end of the day. So, just having that along me, and then obviously having that presence of, God with me through those moments. There was a lot of, signs that he was giving to me throughout that time, and that's a whole separate story. But there was a lot of excitement leading up to those weeks. Obviously, I didn't play week 4, and that was something I really wanted to do just because that was the minimum of coming back. And I just knew I wasn't ready leading up to that week after some of the workouts. I just still felt a lot of that scar tissue build up in there, and a lot of pain and, range of motion, obviously. The pain was probably like the last on the ladder for it. But as far as like range of motion, because I kind of need that being a receiver. So after that was all clear, that's when we started looking towards this week. And, I just felt like it was scripted, for me, just going into a week like this, playing a really good team like this, and, having the opportunity to step on that field again.
What's going on with Brandon right now, but with the very real possibility that he's out, how much urgency do you feel to really kind of pick up the pace and get going now with an opportunity like that?
Yeah, right now I'm not feeling like much urgency, as you would say. It's more of, just making sure that I reach out to my guy. That's still my brother at the end of the day. For me, it's much bigger than football. He's going through something right now, and I'm making sure, I show that my love for him and sending prayers his way and checking on that guy because, he's a really good buddy of mine. So, but, in this game, he went down, and I had to, play more than expected, than really everybody expected. But, I just try to make the most of my opportunities.
You make your first football your whole life. Was there a point today where, when you got out there, was it different? And when did it start to feel natural today?
Yeah, it felt different just because, all the buildup around it, just from, training camp, missing most of that. And then, obviously going through this entire incident, I just felt like there was a different buildup towards that than I was used to. I never missed a game in college, in my entire college career. So I never really had that Sitting on the sideline and watching the games was a little different for me. So, it felt a little different. But, once I got on the field, I put my helmet on, my cleats on, I was running around with the guys. And, just like this is like still football at the end of the day, and that's kind of when I felt natural. And then especially after my first catch, I made sure I had to secure that. And then after that, everything went away. So.
I'm sure Shanahan said, like, in the hospital, it was lunch, he said in the hospital, you're like, I'd like to play in week 1. I mean, you explain what your mindset was at that time?
Yeah, that was that was after they looked at the X-rays and they let people start coming into the room. And John was one of the first people to come there, and I was super happy to see him. That's probably when I broke down in tears when I saw him, just because it hit a little different, knowing that I wasn't gonna be able to play, week 1, and I was super excited. Obviously, I was missing a lot of training camp too, so I was really looking forward to the opportunity. I was super excited, and just the way it went down, it made me a little bit emotional. But seeing him there, that's when it all hit. But yeah.
Has this whole thing had an impact on your perspective, how you view your career and your life? I mean, it's a pretty emotional thing. Has it changed your perspective?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a pretty good perspective, just due to being raised the right way, and having a good foundation of I have a good family with my parents, my sisters, those people being around me. I just learned those morals and values growing up. But as far as this incident, yeah, it definitely shook me in a different way. That every day is not promised. You know what I mean? And you just gotta expand on everything you can.
Hey Ricky, physically, just how do you feel playing your first football game with all that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, physically I feel great. I feel like I could play another game right now.
Ricky, Levi Stadium got really loud after you make that first completion. How much of that moment did you get to take in?
Yeah, obviously I'm in the moment. I'm trying to, we're trying to get some first downs, and move the ball and go score and put some points up. So, but then after that catch, and my teammates were dabbing me up and saying that they're happy for me and they're proud of me, and then that's kind of when it all hit. Crowd got a little loud right there, and yeah, I just took the opportunity to be appreciative of everything that led up to that and all the blessings that came along with it. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
What do you think about that guy?
I wasn't paying attention, honestly, but he's a great kid, and I'm happy for him.
Looks like he might be suffered. This team might have suffered another pretty. We don't know yet, but I guess we asked you. The accumulation start. You start to feel the losses and almost like what's going to happen next with this situation.
It's hard to feel it right now. It's obviously I hope for the best with him, but yeah, let it process a little bit as the days go on.
It's tough to lose any game, but does it seem a little bit tougher to kind of be up here today talking about it when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs and not kind of be able to get over that hump this year?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously want to beat a team that's had your number since I've been here, but we didn't play good enough.
Out there, with a lot of different players, different receivers, he himself said no, it's not time for him to put on a Superman cape. What do you tell him at a time like this when so many people are missing for him?
I don't know if it's my job to tell Brock how to react. I think we have coaches and people for that.
What bothers you the most about the loss?
Just because we didn't play good, kind of, yeah.
When you lost to the Cardinals, you were adamant that you're not losing confidence in the team. Do you still feel that way?
I do, yeah. I mean, this organization knows how to win, and obviously we're not off to the start we want. But we have a long way still.
The trade deadline is coming up. Do you expect the team to be active again like it was in the last couple of years?
Not my job.
Balance the wanting to get a guy out of bounds like Patrick Mahomes and not getting penalized for the hit?
It's tough. I didn't see exactly how that play went, but the rules do make it tough, but that's not an excuse.
You guys got to him a little bit early in the first half with a couple sacks. What were your impressions on how he was playing and how what an adversary he is?
Yeah, I mean they're a tough team. They know how to win in a lot of different ways. So we were hoping for more ops in the second half, but you got to stop the run to do that, and we weren't doing that. So.
Nick, you've been a part of a lot of successful teams here. Do you feel like with a loss like this, you find out more about your team and the makeup of everyone going through this adversity, or the wins? Like, how do you compare it? And if so, what do you guys take from this?
Yeah, I mean, we've been through a lot of tough losses, a lot of tough season starts, but it's all about getting into the playoffs, and you got to do that by winning enough games, winning your division, and that's kind of where our focus is.
How discouraging is it that you haven't been able to find a way to beat this particular team?
It's discouraging, yeah.
Couple more elbow issue?
Yeah, it's just a bruise.
Nick, personally, how do you flush this one? I mean, you got to see the film. What do you need to do to kind of put this one behind you and get to Dallas?
I mean, same as other losses. Just learn from it and move on.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Coming out of this game, just what's your initial thought on what happened today and where the team goes from here?
Yeah, my initial thought is we didn't play good enough to win. I really want to move on, look at the film hard, and you can do one of two things. Like, you can sulk in defeat, or you can see what the reality is, fix it, move on, and get ready to win a game next week. Like, there's so many things that are going to be said, obviously, about where we're at and that team. And at the end of the day, like, that's not going to help us move forward. That's not going to help us for next week. We got to just look at the reality of what it is, flush it, move on, and win a game next week.
Go ahead.
As you do look to next week, I mean, what would it mean for this team to get a win against the Cowboys and have the bye and go into that with a win?
Yeah, it would mean a lot. Obviously, we got to move forward. We got to prepare hard for the Cowboys, win a game at home in a primetime game, and get back on track going into the bye.
What gives you confidence that you can turn things around and go on a run the way you have so many times before?
The guys that we have in this building, everybody that's come up here and spoke at this podium, the guy who's going to speak after me, obviously I take a lot I put a lot of myself through the wins and the losses to be the player that our team needs me to be, and the leader that our team needs me to be. So we have everything we have that we need going forward to right the ship.
Want to move on. It's a tough loss, but the commentators say during the game called Kansas City, you guys is kryptonite. Is there like some type of mental part of this game when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs that you guys have to kind of try to get over as you try to defeat this team, or it's not that, it's just a game?
Well, I mean, everybody's going to say that as long as we don't beat them, and that's something that we got to take on the chin. And, whenever we have that moment to play them again, then it's going to be the same exact story until we beat them. So that's something that we got to own, and, hey, you got to take it on the chin.
There's never a perfect game, but it seems like there's more mistakes than there have been in the past. Is there anything that's been happening at all during the defense that's causing these mistakes?
We for sure got to be better with the penalties. We got to clean that up. That's a fixable. We got to play smarter in that way and not give the other team more opportunities out there, especially in the red zone. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, and then everything else. Like I said, we just got to play better.
When Mahomes got away from you on his long run. Just it's obviously he's very creative, does a lot of things. What do you feel as a defender when you see that unfold again?
Yeah, I mean it's a play that I got to make. I'm leaving my coverage to try and make a play, and I'm right there, got to make it. And obviously we know rush lanes and all those sort of things, and then even then we can't let them continue to run down the sideline, those sort of things.
Fred, is there a right and a wrong way to react to a loss as a leader in the room, as one of the veterans? Is it important how you react to the loss?
I think so. I think the longer I've been in it, you can listen to what people say about you in the outside world. Obviously, what you guys do is important, and I respect all you guys. But hey, all the stories can be written that we're not good enough and all these sort of things. For us, it's about just continuing to focus on what we do. We're the ones that are going to be out there on Sunday against the Cowboys and have every opportunity to win that game and do what we need to do.
Brad, I know he's been missed all season, but today specifically, with what Mahomes can do, how much did you miss Drake Greenlaw next to you?
Obviously we miss Dre. He's a big part of what we do, but it's a next man up mentality. I love going against. I mean, I love going out there with who we have out there. You know what I'm saying? So that's no excuse.
Describe Kyle's message to you guys after that game.
I'll probably keep that in house, but Kyle always has the right thing to say when it comes to wins and losses.
I think Mahomes had the lowest passer rating of his career. I mean, he didn't go crazy against you guys. Have they evolved? I mean, are they just a better team since like maybe 2019?
I mean, they find ways to win. That's what's great about their team. They find ways to win. It doesn't always have to be just him having a great game. He obviously made the plays when he needed to make them, and it's a team sport. Their team won the game today.
But obviously 7 weeks into the season, probably not the record you guys would have hoped for, but the good news, there's still a lot of football to be played left this particular season. Is that kind of how you guys look at this? Like, we still have plenty of time left. We can still win the division, get into the postseason. What is your, after a loss like this, what is that mentality like? And is it like, we're fine, we're going to overcome this and continue going?
Kind of similar message to what I've been saying the whole time. Is you can go one of two ways in the situation. You can sit and you can sulk and lose in a big game like this, or you can move on and have a positive mindset going into the next game, trying to just win one game at a time. We have a big one this week. It's everything on the line every single week that you step out there. And so how do you get better from this? That's all I'm thinking about right now.
Quick evaluation of the play where Pat got away from you. Was that a bad angle or?
Yeah, he's just running, and I'm going from left to right with my, I'm man coverage on the running back and trying to come off and make the play. So I just didn't make it. That's all it is.
Maybe one positive is how Malik Mustafa played out there today. He had some pretty big hits, played pretty hard.
Yeah, he's been playing amazing. I'm really happy with Malik and the way that he's playing. He's earned every bit of all the good stuff that's happening to him. We just need him to continue to play good for our defense, for our team.
All right, thanks, Fred.
Thanks, guys.
Howdy.
George, how exciting was it to see Ricky back out there with you guys and playing in his first career NFL game?
It's awesome. To go through what he went through and then to be back 7 weeks later and make an impact and really just get out there in front of the crowd. Definitely probably had some jitters. I don't know if he did, but I think I would in that situation. And he came out and made the play when he needed to make a play. For the crowd to kind of give him a standing ovation was a really special moment. I'm just happy for him to be back on the football field. We drafted him in the first round. He's an amazing athlete. He's a hell of a wide receiver. So just the more reps he gets, the more practice reps he gets, he's going to be a really good player for us.
This week, you and Debo on his podcast kind of spelled out what you guys needed to do to become successful in this matchup
Yes.
today against the Kansas City Chiefs. The biggest thing was the turnover
Yep.
battle that you needed to win. Not the case today. Just kind of take me through what you think about this matchup and if it's something that was in-house or when it comes to mistakes and turnovers, or is it that they have your number as a Bosa said?
Bosa's not usually wrong. I'll say that
when the score is 14-6 at halftime, I think our defense is playing at a really high level against an amazing quarterback and a really good offense. And when we went like 3 and out the first couple drives, where we didn't have a first down for what felt like the entire first half. Like, you can't play like that if you want to beat a team that knows how to win. They win gritty games, and it wasn't the prettiest game for them. Patrick had a couple turnovers himself, but they win those gritty games. And when we just continually have turnovers, don't get first downs, don't run the ball explosive like the way that we usually do it, it's really hard to beat good teams. And I just think the offense, we just didn't play very well today, and we kind of left our whole team out there, and I think we let our defense and special teams down, really. I mean, we have to play better. It's wild. Debo didn't play. We lose Ayuk. So, yeah, you look in the huddle, and I'm standing next to Ricky, Jake, Chris Conley, and J.P. Mason. It's a lot different than, Debo, Jawan, Ayuk, and Christian McCaffrey. So it's a little different, but we have the coach staff for it. Our offensive line is still healthy. The guys in the building are really talented, so we just have to figure that out and keep pushing forward.
I think Brock played through obviously different receivers, different things going on, and what can you expect from him when all these guys, this weaponry is not out there with him?
What did Brock say?
He put it on himself.
What a good guy. It's never on one player. I know he's probably disappointed with, what do you have, 3 interceptions? Yeah, I mean, he's going to be disappointed about that. It's not on him, though. I mean, early on, the route I had a pass interference on, I could have ran a better route. He would have thrown a really good ball. I know, that's a catch and run. And then, unfortunately, Ayuk has a drop. It's the play before the play. He's given us chances to make plays, and we weren't, taking advantage of those plays. And so then, I haven't talked to Brock, but it seems like, maybe he was trying to force something, just trying to, give us a little momentum and stuff like that. And, you don't need to. When you're playing against a defense that, as the Chiefs are playing at a very high level, it's kind of you don't want to force your hand too much. It's kind of take what they give you and then stay on the field as long as possible. 15-play drives, in my opinion, are great drives against the Kansas City Chiefs because it keeps Patrick Mahomes off the field. And he's going to eventually, do some type of Patrick Mahomes type stuff, and which is usually pretty good for him. But all I know is Brock's, this is his 3rd year. He's had a couple, games that he didn't think he played very well in. I have no concern for Brock. I think he's going to come back and sling the hell out of the football next week.
George, how do you overcome losing Brandon probably for the season?
Ooh. Well, it sucks. I love Brandon Ayuk, the energy that he brings, what he can do on the football field, routes, catching the ball. He's an incredible football player. So I think Kyle's going to scheme some stuff up. The nice thing is we still have Juwan Jennings, me, you, Juice, Debo. We still have guys all over our roster that can make plays. And, Jake ran an awesome curl pump today. He's going to continue to get reps and be forced to grow up. Same with Ricky. They're going to be forced to grow up and mature really, really fast. And, it's kind of on us as veterans in the system to help them along and make sure that they are ready to, play in these football games. But, yeah, I mean, you can't really replace in my opinion, one of the best receivers in the NFL.
What you just said, but are there similarities between Ricky and Ayuk and just the type of receiver they are, what they do well?
Just watching, it was fun. Ricky cooked at OTAs. He was averaging 150 yards a day, it seemed like. So that's fun. He runs really good routes. He's really fast. He's explosive. I think one thing that they have similar, really, though, is, they just have, a dog mindset. Put it on me, put it on my shoulders. Ayuk, the way it sucks because Ayuk, had a hell of a week of practice. He was just unreal catches left and right. And so, he was just, starting to hit his stride in the season after not doing training camp. But football, the NFL is a land of opportunity. Injuries happen, stuff happens, shitty things happen, and who's going to step up? Who's going to, rise to the occasion, take advantage of the opportunity? That's what the NFL is. And so we have a lot of young players, like I said, it's on, our vets to pull them along, whether they are ready or not.
George, when an injury like that happens and it looks bad, how long does that linger with you during the game, or are you able to just put it aside for the moment?
I didn't really know until halftime. So, but yeah, at halftime, when, you hear someone say we need crutches and a knee brace, it's Sorry. Yeah, I mean, Brand's a great friend of mine. So, like, just it impacts you to an extent, but, like, you have to have the 3-foot mindset and just attack what's in front of you and then emotionally deal with it at a later time.
Sure, this season, how would you describe the importance of next week's game ahead of the bye week?
I mean, it's huge. Every game's huge. I think it's Sunday Night Football, so, like, all eyes on Levi Stadium, which I'm excited about. It's a great rivalry. It always has been. You know, we need to get a win, and especially because it's an NFC opponent. Like, we have to continue to stay in the hunt. We have to try to stay ahead in our division as best we possibly can, and just try to get a little bit better. You know, I've said multiple times you want to be a better team in October than you were September, better in November than you were October. We did not get better today. You know, we had some good plays, but it was not our best performance. Thanks, guys.